What are you doing?
W/1. Let's try 4W/1. Yeah, 4W/1.
4W/1.
Sweet. Let me switch the display over, and I guess we'll be ready to go. Into game 1, which, to my understanding, is going to be Terror against Widow Killer. Lag-free Terror facing off against IM's Widow Killer. And I don't know who Widow Killer is.
Yeah, I wanted to bring their lineup up again. I don't... Well, no, that's not true. There are some people on here that I know. Actually, I was talking to Javaliteran about this, and he thought that Widow Killer was Modesty.
Oh, Modesty? Okay. So we'd have
Because, yeah, Modesty's not in the tournament, and there aren't that many American Zergs. So, I don't know why he thought it was. That's why I thought it was. But he also had independent reasons of thinking that. So it may or may not be Modesty.
Oh, yeah, I have to tell this thing to, like, pop up or whatever every time. There we go.
Alright. In the top left, as the off-white color Terran, we have LagFree's Terror. And in the bottom right, as the purple Zerg, we have IM Widow Killer, which Skyline in chat is also confirming is Modesty. So we're going to assume it's Modesty.
And all I can say is Terror has been in excellent form of late. If you look, he is second on IC Cup with like a 93-something percentage. He's only lost 6 games. 2 of those, I think, are to Ziki. And he's also been playing on Fish, and he's quite high ranked on Fish from what I remember right now. So he's really on a roll and should be the overwhelming favorite here in this game. Which is not to say that Modesty's bad, as I mean, Modesty is an A- Zerg, but Terror has really been showing some great form and has been very, very active of late.
So this is game number 1, first game of the day of week 2 of Swedish Brood War Initiative's Team League. Very happy to have them sponsoring the Team League. They're doing a lot of great stuff. I know that they had to get together last week to watch the games, and from what Jabba Terran told me, they all had a grand time. Don't know if they're doing it again this week, but big thanks to you guys out there. So, initial scouts from both players heading down. I guess sending out the Zerg Scout isn't an automatic, or the Drone Scout, excuse me, isn't an automatic thing for Zerg, especially on a 2-player map. But given the player, I can somewhat understand why he'd be a little bit more cautious. He did see a little bit high number of Marines, and now it looks like that his early scouting might pay off here, as these early Marines are heading out. They have SCVs behind. The Overlord's going to see all of them. He's
going to lose the Overlord, though, so that's a big deal. There are no Lings in production. The pool is not done, so that's going to be really bad. He just lost that Overlord, which means he's just going to have to wait on another Overlord to make Lings, and that's going to make this defense absurdly difficult.
Yeah, he started another hatchery in his base. I'm surprised he didn't cancel the one of the natural, because without the spawning pool even done, without the Overlord, I don't know how he's going to be able to defend his natural.
He's pulling all the drones off the line, though, to try and fight this. We'll see if he can intercept the Marines. Obviously, that's going to be critical. It is just 1 Rax of Marine production, but there's already 3 here, and we'll see if he can get us around with the drones. 1 has already gone down, 2 drones, 1 drone really low on health. And wait, Widow Killer he's going way far up to intercept Marines. He does get 1 very nicely. However, he's putting down a creep colony to try and hold a bunker being built out of range, but there are 3 SCVs already shooting at the drones. Are going to be able to drill right on top of the Marines. They're right in the drill path. Can they get out of it? Yes, just barely, but they do knock off 1. 3 Marines remain. It's down to just 1. Can he get this last one into the bunker? I don't know. It's going to be close. The Sunken is really low on health, but he has targeted down the SCV, making it. He does get rid of the Sunken colony, though, and I think the bunker's going to finish. A few Lings are out. The bunker will finish, but is it in range of the hatchery? I don't think so. As the creep recedes, he might be able to build a bunker in range of the hatchery, but I suspect that Modesty is going to get out enough Lings in time to deal with this. Wait, okay, I was going to say. Is he trying to pick off drones with SCVs? That's kind of cute. He actually gets one, though, just as I say that, and then drills back. What are we looking at? Well, it's only 10 supply for Modesty, so even with a lot of SCVs off the line, Terror still has decent saturation back at home, and Modesty has almost no saturation whatsoever. So even if he isn't able to bunker the hatchery down, it's still going to be a really rough situation for Modesty.
Both players going for more static defense. It's going to be yet another race, but the bunker is going to finish much, much sooner than the Sunken colony this time.
Oh, Modesty overcommits with the Lings, and he's going to lose all of them as the SCV's blocking from retreating. Nice little micro there by Terror to prevent them from getting back. Unfortunately, that Sunken is in range, is taking a decent amount of damage from a fully loaded bunker. Zergling's going for it now to buy the Sunken time to finish. He might take down the 1 bunker. No repairs, 2 Imba. The Lings evaporate, and Modesty is looking really dead, down to 7 supply, and there's GG.
Welp, I guess the whole Peruvian team starting out pretty strong.
Yep. And there were no complaints of lag, so far maybe we are lag free. So Terror's really the anchor of that team, so he does get a crucial first win, and we'll see how it goes from there. Game 2 is going to be on Coliseum.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, Modesty did an okay job with the defense. He definitely got some nice pickoffs with his drones, and that was good. That would have been over a lot quicker if he hadn't managed to kill 4 or 5 Marines before the bunker finished. The one thing that left me questioning about that game was letting that third hatchery finish. I think I'm honestly was a little bit optimistic, thinking that he was going to be able to get anything off of that hatchery. I thought he was building it there just because he was going to cancel the one at the natural and give it up. But he kept all 3 hatcheries, and he just simply didn't have the economy to be building off of that much larva.
Yeah, and then after pulling all of those drones, I mean, they did stop a few Marines, but he lost almost all the drones in the process. And Terra was just really at a great spot economically, too. Are you ready for game 2?
Ready for game 2.
Then let it begin. It is going to be Dark from LagFree against I Am Phasers, a PvT. And of course the map Coliseum.
Alright. In the bottom right, as the teal Terran, is I Am Phasers, which is a really fun name to say. And in the top right, as the purple Protoss, we have LagFree's Dark. And it is a very, very early probe coming out from Dark.
And probably no pylon, huh?
So, we're going to see some kind of cheese. I don't think the middle of the map is buildable, so I think he has to place the proxy in one of the bases, which on a 4-player map is rather risky, because this is the risk right here. He's going to go to a base and find nothing in it. If the Terran was there, then yeah, great, proxy works, but now he's going to double back, and
unless he just wanted to gas steal and hope he could find the first position to gas steal, but he's at 9 of 9 and hasn't made a... Okay, he's going to make an in-base pylon, so it's possible he was just sending out the probe and hoping if he hit Terran first, he would be able to gas steal. I don't think he can guarantee a gas steal now, unless...
Gas steal before first pylon?
Well, some Protoss will not necessarily before, but they'll send out the probe early so that they can get the gas steal off. Like if you really want a gas steal, like I don't know, we'll see if this probe is in time to hit all 3 spots to gas steal. It might be. It's gonna be close though. I don't think it'll quite make it to the 3rd position in time to gas steal.
All right. So. Delaying the pylon that much did cause him to be supply blocked for a while and missed out on at least 1 probe being produced, maybe 2. Now building a gateway and assimilator, so it looks like he's going to transition into a kind of normal build. He is too late for the gas steal because he was unfortunate with the scouting. And yeah, man, you do that kind of stuff when you have a buildable middle. Or even something like Fighting Spirit, where you don't necessarily build it in the middle, but you just build it in between 2 bases, so that you have at least a 2/3 chance. But it seems like if he was going for cheese there, which all indication would point that he was, there's like a 1/3 chance that he was going to get that. That's some admirable dedication to cheese right there.
It's worth noting that not only did he send out a very early probe, he didn't build the pylon until 9 of 9 supply. So definitely Dark is not going to have as strong of an eco as typical, and we can see that as Terran is 2 supply ahead, which would not be typical at this stage of the game. And that's probably just 2 extra probes, basically. 2 extra SCVs.
One Marine out, starting to build the factory. On the other side, Protoss now building the first Goon.
And it looks like Dark might go into something fairly standard here. We'll see if he gets range. He's still working on it. Oh, he doesn't have 1. Oh god, he's only mining gas with 2 probes. Oh, there we go. Okay, put the 3rd on now, realizing it. Is he going to get range? So he's probably going to go into more of a standard game. Doesn't really have the money. I think we'll just see an expansion here. And now he's putting 4 on gas to compensate. I don't know how much that really makes up. There was some thread about it. It's like every 5 minutes you get a couple extra gas or something. I forget exactly what it was. It was like a BGH thread. Oh, he's going to go double gate. So an aggressive opening, but perhaps slightly delayed. Definitely range slightly delayed. And he is cutting pro... No, okay, maybe he just didn't have the minerals because he's behind on eco.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I know that there are... I've seen the thread you're talking about, where you get very slightly more gas if you put 4 on, but I think it's also positionally dependent. Like, where the geyser is relative to the nexus. I think if it's directly above it like this, you don't actually gain anything. but I might be misremembering that. Just looking at the probes, it looks like every time the probe stops, there are 2 probes waiting there at every round, and
Yeah.
you're not gaining anything by having it, but whatever. It's minor stuff.
Alright, so he's going to have 4 goons coming out. He's got 2 out right now. FD's going to roll. So 4 goons by the time FD gets there, so assuming his micro is solid, he's going to be just fine. This is really not the best FD Marine positioning, but it doesn't matter. Range isn't done yet. It should be getting pretty close, though. Range is about to finish. Going to kind of have to keep walking back, trying to get a few shots off, but he can't really get free shots off on the Marines right now because he doesn't have range, although that is going to kick in right now. So now he's got the range, he can fight this a little better. He's going to have 4 goons, nice narrow choke. He's got 2 more, he's going to have a 5th really done, so unless he really bushes something, he's going to be fine here with the micro against the FD. But of course he doesn't have an expansion, so Terran's going to be fine economically. I doubt we're going to see him commit. He'll probably just lay a few mines outside this long natural choke. Yeah, actually he's going to come back in here, push things back a little bit. Kind of suiciding the Marines right now as they're fighting outside of the tank and now running back. How far is he going to chase with these Dragoons? He needs to stop right about... Oh god. Well, 1 goon gets devoured by the mines, and the other's going to have to retreat back now, and this is apparently Phaser's key to come back, picks off a 2nd goon. So that's not a bad trade. Losing a few Marines to kill 2 goons will be just fine, and of course a much faster Expo. We can see his CC is almost done, Protoss only just starting his Nexus. So Phaser's going to be in a really good spot now at this point, going into the mid-game.
Yeah, you're starting to see just little... You're starting to... This is the common theme of Brood War, to see little advantages start to snowball throughout the course of a game. The getting supply blocked early, so missing out on 1 or 2 probes, set his economy back a little bit. Then putting an extra probe on gas sets economy back a little bit. Because of that, Terran got an Expo up faster, and the faster Expo means that Terran's going to get an even larger lead. And it's compounding. When you make a small mistake in StarCraft, it has a nasty habit of just becoming a bigger and bigger mistake over time, as you're unable to stop your opponent from taking more and more advantages. And it looks like that's exactly what the Terran's doing here, but just playing it right, not doing anything silly. I don't know if he realizes that he has a slight economic lead. He did see, because he kept his scout in there relatively late, that the Protoss didn't have an expansion up. I don't know if he really understands exactly how far ahead he is economically.
And a slight over Maynard there from Dark to the back expansion, but now it is up and saturated, of course. Terran's ahead. Terran's mined about 1,000 minerals from that expansion, whereas Dark has not mined any minerals, just now starting. And Terran is Phaser's on 2 factories, getting his armory up, so we're probably not going to see any super aggressive timing pushes or anything like that, unless Dark does something really greedy. But usually if you're getting that armory, you're just going to go play 3 base, 2-1 type stuff. And yeah, it looks like he might already be moving to the high ground, which if he does, this is going to be a very quick third, especially if he's going to build it just right on the high ground. He's sieging a few tanks here up, and going to wall off the ramp. Okay, he hasn't dropped the CC yet, putting a bunker at that choke, and getting a turret up as well. We'll see how soon he starts the CC.
This is a pretty aggressive third.
Yeah,
it does feel a little bit spread out, but I'm not sure that Dark's going to be in position to punish it. Observer comes in and sees that very forward turret. Doesn't necessarily see the bunker or the SCVs or the command center, but just based on that turret position, he should be really suspicious this is happening, and he might be forced to try to make something happen.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to be able to. He's not building a shuttle, and he's only on 3 gateways. Only has about 6 or 7 Dragoons, and against a bunker and a wall and 3 or 4 high ground tanks, see, I don't think you'll be able to do much. Maybe if you had the shuttle coming out, there'd be a little bit of potential, but I think he's just going to have to deal with it. He's going to go maybe fast arbiters, though. Yeah, he's going fast arbiters.
Yeah.
So that's going to be his response, and that's okay. If you have the tech, being a little bit behind on bases is not as bad for a while. At some point, you still need to have to be up of Terran in bases, but have a little freedom with that.
There's going to be a very crucial attack in 5 minutes time or so, a little bit less than that. If he's going to base arbiter. when he gets that first Arbiter out and he makes his first attack with the Arbiter, if it does not do significant damage and Terran is unpunished for being on 3 bases, and 3 bases is a lot longer than the Protoss is on 3 bases, as Protoss just starts their Nexus. Not a lot longer, but still, even tied bases is a Terran advantage, so for Terran to have a base lead is huge.
Both bases faster too. The natural came up about the same amount faster as the thirds are faster.
Right. So if that first Arbiter does not do significant damage, if they don't manage to take out the third, essentially, that's what it comes down to. If they don't manage to kill off the third with the first Arbiter, Dark is in a lot of trouble for the rest of the game. He's making a big game.
And a 4th gateway being made. Leg speed is also being researched. And let's take a look. What do we have here? We've got 4 or 5 tanks out for phasers, a few mines on 3 factories right now. That number should be increasing here quite soon. He's getting his +1 attack. It's about halfway done. Starport coming out. Oh, 3 facts in Starport. So he's going to kind of... And now dropping a bunch more facts. He's going up to 6 factories. And he's getting a pretty fast starport. That was 2 fact starport, so I think he's going to try to deal with the fast Arbiter with fairly fast vessels. And the second armory as well.
He doesn't know about the He doesn't know about the Arbiters yet.
Oh,
he doesn't have.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he doesn't know. Okay. Well, that is a very fast starport though.
It is a very fast starport. I think I mean, unless he's just rushing science vessels, which would be a really interesting move. I think more likely it's just because he wants that +2.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe he's going to actually need that at the timing to start it right away. That's true. That's still really fast, though, to go 2 facts into Starport.
Yeah,
but he did put the armory down pretty fast, so...
It's a pretty big investment to do that. That's why a lot of times you'll see the Terran player go for 1-1 and then get the second attack upgrade, even though +2 tanks are really, really strong. You just don't have that gas to invest in the starport and then the science facility and then the second upgrade. You'd rather be using that money on tanks, but he's skimping a little bit on his army here, where he could be pumping out a huge army. Instead, using that money right now to build up second armory, build up the upgrades, build up the factories, getting a very, very strong infrastructure, and making the attack with the Arbiter all the more crucial.
No vessel started yet, although he is putting... There's the vessel started. Alright, so he's going to have a vessel... What's the Arbiter's energy at right now? It'll be pretty close. I don't know if he'll quite have the vessel to block the first stasis. Dark has a bit of a scary army, but Phasers is 20 supply ahead, and that is pretty significant. And he's got tanks in a really nice defensive position. He's got to siege a few of these up on the high ground, but he can do that at a moment's notice. He's got some vultures patrolling the map. And honestly, this army's not that big, unless he gets off some huge clump stasis. I don't really think there's going to be much of a window for Dark to attack. Vessel's going to be out, and production is already way kicking in. I mean, Phasers is going up to 8 factories right now, and Dark is only on 5 gateways, so I just don't think his army is going to be scary enough to do much.
Yeah, it's rough right now for Dark. Man, his army isn't quite big enough. Eating some mine hits on the goons, eating some more mine hits on the goons. Losing 2.
That's not what he needs at this point. He's just going to go ahead, he's going to go ahead and take more bases and try to get into a good macro position, but the problem is Phasers going to max before him, most likely. I mean, Phasers is already 30 supply ahead, so this push from Phasers when it comes is going to be absurdly hard to hold off. If he does, he might be okay, but it's going to be really, really difficult. I mean, he's going for this Nexus, taking the gamble, saying, look, I need the eco, I gotta do something, but trying to deal with a max Terran army, I mean, he's gonna have great tech, so that's gonna be his one hope, and actually, Phasers deciding that, no, now's a good time to go, which is a bit interesting, because his +2 is not done. I thought he might at least wait for that, but he's getting fairly close to max, and now Phasers, or Dark coming in here to attack, Vultures need to pull back. We'll see if he can hit it. Pretty good stasis there, though. Gets 4 or 5 of the tanks, and it looks like Phasers going to move back to high ground, and now Dark is committing to this, and the stasis actually acting as a bit of a choke. He's got some Templar in there. Does he have the Storm? Yes, he does. A decent one on the front Vultures. The second one only hitting a few of the tanks, but it looks like it's already down to just goons, and fighting these tanks on the high ground in the choke just not working out for Dark. Going to be forced to retreat. He does avoid losing the Arbiter, though, so that is going to be good for him. Unfortunately, his supply lead going into that attack, or he's down 30 going into that attack, now he's down 40 supply, so not much of a trade there for Dark. Threw away a lot of stuff for really only a Storm on a few Vultures and a Stasis on a few tanks.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, it could have been a lot worse for Dark, and it would have been a lot worse. EMP was 10 to 15 seconds away from finishing at the start of that fight. So the Arbiter just got up enough, or excuse me, not the Arbiter, the Science Vessel just got up enough energy, but then couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, and Dark is just going to get macrolled. I'm pretty sure Phasers at this point is +2 attack is going to finish here in like a second. I'm pretty sure he can just unsiege and just aim move and end this game right now. Dark is crazy behind, 60 supply behind.
Yeah, he might be able to.
Like
at the very least,
if he hits an EMP, 100% he can just aim move.
At the very least, he could be sending the Vultures up and taking out that 4th, because there's no map presence right now for Protoss, which means any kind of expo outside their safe 3 is just going to be impossible for them to do.
So here comes Phasers rolling out, laying a few mines. I don't know if he realizes he's quite at this ridiculous of a lead, sieging up some of his tanks. You can see it's still only 5 gateways for Dark, which is pretty ridiculous at 15 minutes to be on only 5 gateways in production.
So, I think once he gets his tanks up a little bit farther to the left of the natural, he'll be able to start sieging it down.
Yeah, quite soon. Phasers is actually moving very methodically. Maybe he's just playing it safe, or maybe he doesn't realize how far ahead he is with his army size. But he's just pushing nice and methodically up along the ridge. I mean, that's a good safe way to push. And just not many units from Dark. I can't tell if he wants to recall, because he does have enough energy, and he has this group clumped over on the left side, or if he's just going to try to attack out of his choke and from the left side. I think we're going to see an attack, it looks like. We'll see if he can avoid getting EMP'd. I thought those vessels were going out to get the Arbiter, but perhaps not. This Arbiter... Actually, what is going to happen? This Arbiter's going way down south. Maybe it is going to go for a recall. I'm not sure. And over on the left side, we got a little drop here. Tank has a few kills, and Vulture's going to notice the probes. Nothing's going to be able there to defend him. He's going to have to divert some of his army, and somewhere here comes an Arbiter for recall. It's right on top of a bunch of mines. The recall instantly evaporates, except for 2 goons, which are not that powerful by themselves. So disastrous recall. He's losing all of his probes. No, actually they're targeting down the Nexus, so never mind. He's not going to lose his probes, and he will save the Nexus. But the drop still kills about 5 probes, and 2 goons back there still tickling turrets, but not doing much. He's actually lifting the CC from 2 goons. That's a little bit silly. But now he is just unsieging, and he's going to A-move into Dark's base, and there is 1 Storm and maybe 2 Stasis, but he might hit the EMP on all the Arbit. No, they get away. Can he land the second EMP? Decides not to go in there. Okay, sieging up now at the choke. 198 supply to 156. Another EMP goes down on the army, and that is just so many tanks and such a small choke to fight through. He is A-moving into it, but I doubt he can do much. Solid's running in, fighting Vultures, dematrixing the front tanks, which works beautifully well in a choke. The CC still has not landed for whatever reason. Vulture's going up here harassing the top base. And I just don't see much of a way out of this for Dark. Goons running into mines on the backside of this push. And it looks like all the units are gone. The choke is firmly sieged, and now the 3rd Nexus is in range. The cannons have almost gone down. The Vultures will be able to raid that out soon. The natural Nexus has gone down. So very, very, very little eco left now for Dark.
He's trying to reestablish some stuff over at the port base. Has a little bit better probe saturation than he did, getting some gateways up there, but as you said, losing the natural, yeah, probably going to lose the main. It's very clearly too much of a blow for Dark to recover from this.
And Vulture's now finally raiding the probes at the 3rd base and mining up all the gateways. Tanks actually destroying gateways in the main. He's trying to get, Dark's trying to get gateways up on the other side, but it's not enough. And now the 3rd Nexus is going down as well. So he's lost all of his mining except for what is going on at the left side. And really, he's never getting out of his base again. Like with where the tanks are positioned now, and trying to do this with pure goons. 80 supply to 182 supply. And at this point, we really are just kind of waiting for Dark to say, alright, I give. And there it is. GG. Phasers ties it up 1-1 for IM. And that was just really, really brutal macro lead.
So, I'm not exactly sure where this becomes relevant in the story of the games, but I was told by Java Terran that IM was having some issues with some of their players. And Terror did a real solid for the excuse me for IM and for the league, and really didn't want to take the walkovers against them.
Oh, cool.
So he went pretty far out of his way to make sure that as many games as possible could be played. So shout outs to Terror for that. Pretty good manner there.
So it seems our third match is going to be on Outsider, and it's going to be between, for LagFree, ZT, a Zerg, and for IM Probert, a Terran. Again, two players I don't know, and I don't really know what to expect.
Is it Probert like probe, or is
Yeah.
it Probert like Robert?
It has probe with an RT at the end.
I don't know. Alright. In the top position as the Brown Zerg, we have LagFree ZD. And in the bottom position as the Purple Terran, we have IM's Probert. So, that's going to tie it up 1-1 between these two teams now. And we're gonna have a TVZ on Outlier. Or, excuse me, not Outlier, Outsider.
Outsider, yeah.
It's a very, very strong map for Mutalisks. If you have good Mutalist control, then you're able to do a lot of damage. And it's such a good map for Mutalisks that Wraith play is more viable on this map than it is on almost any other map for the exact same reasons.
Wraiths are popular here, as are Guardians. I saw a lot of games in Pro League that featured Guardians on this map as well.
There are definitely some really good spots for Guardians. In those high ground areas right above the natural. It's a really big area, which means that you need those kind of high ground pods. They're areas where you can put the Guardians over, and it's hard for the Terran, or whatever race you're playing against, to be able to approach them easily and get all their units to focus down the Guardians. Guardians don't have a whole lot of health, considering how expensive they are. So it's a very large area that keeps them safe, but because it's so large, they can move around a lot, so they're not constricted to one area. And it means that they can do a lot of damage over a large part of the natural, and a good part of the main even, if Terran has enough buildings to expand out in that direction.
And let's point out, ZD here is going 9 pool gas. Most likely we'll see speed, but you never know. Could be some kind of crazy one-hatch layer build, but more often than not, when you see this is going to be 9 pool speed. And there we have 3 lings, and we'll just wait to see what happens with that 100 gas as soon as it's mined. And it looks like Probert may be thinking race or mech, as he's got his gas up nice and quick, although critically for him he's not walling off, which is more common, particularly if you're going to go wraiths. Although a lot of times mech walls as well. It's going to be interesting to see. Zerg has spent his gas, and it is going to be 9 full speed with a lot of lings. We've got an 8th on the way, and probably more. He might very well go up to as many as 12 lings. And SCV comes in the base, diverts 1 ling back to chase that down as it harasses the drone a bit. And okay, it's only going to be 8 lings, and then they're going to switch back into drones. And he's taking all his guys off gas. So now, Probert needs to get some SCVs over and block this ramp. Oh no, he's going to try to defend this with a bunker, which is going to be beautifully SimCity'd. I don't think the lings can get in there and kill that. But they might be able to kill the gas. In fact, I'm pretty sure they will be able to kill the outside of the gas, so that could be really bad. And exactly what I was thinking, ZD immediately going for the gas, and now Probert's going, oh, well that's annoying. We'll see how the Marine controllers, once speed kicks in, it's going to be really obnoxious. The factory's a long ways from being done, in fact, just started. So he's going to have to either really repair this gas hard, or just accept the fact that he's going to most likely lose it. Because once speed kicks in, he can actually come in there and pick off the Marines if they overcommit to this. He's got 1 SCV repairing, which might be enough. He actually might be able to hold this with repair. He's going in now, rushing in, picks up one of the SCVs, repairing, so there we go, doing some damage in the main base, and he is going to go ahead and start lair on one base, and he's going to drop a Hydroden, so we're going to see a fast Lurker follow-up. Very, very cheesy play here from ZD. Yeah.
Oh boy.
This is definitely,
Alright.
definitely Peruvian play at its finest. Now there are enough Marines, the Lings themselves are not a threat, and it looks like he will be able to defend his gas, even supply dupe in there. Lings can't do a whole lot more damage at this point. There is going to be a Vulture coming out, although it is a slow Vulture against Speedling, so it can be chased down, although it's not easy for the Zerg player, but at the same time, if the Zerg player's control is good, can't do much. And what he's going to drop after that, he's going to drop a command center. So he's just going to try to expand. It looks like he wants to try to get rid of his Lings now, keeping the Vulture right there with his Marines.
The Lurkers are on the way, so the question is going to be, what does Terran have to defend against the Lurkers? Mines are they're something.
If he
But
gets
it looks
mines
like
and that defends it, that'd be pretty awesome. But
yeah,
he's got a
I
shop.
think the
He's going to
mines-
get mines. Okay, he's going to get mines. But he doesn't have any detection, so if the mines don't get the job done, it's going to be pretty bad. He's getting an armory too after this, so... oh lord. And there's going to be a lot of Lings now. He's going to be like, okay.
yeah. It's well, I don't think mines are going to be enough.
Probably not, especially if
Mine's
he realizes what's up, he can just use a couple Lings to defuse the mines.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get a ton of Lurkers with this because your eco's so low, but you get enough that you can probably absorb mines, especially if he doesn't continue Vulture production. And since he's getting an armory, I'm not sure if he's going to do a ton of Vultures. He might make 3. Right now he's holding production as factory. His armory's done. What's he going to make next? Because 6 mines, it's... oh, he's got 3 Vultures. He's got 9 mines. It'll depend kind of on the micro and how Probert runs in there. He's making a bunker on the low ground, which might buy him time. But still no sign of anything that will give him detection. Ling's running in, trying to see if there's any mines to defuse for the Lurkers. And now more mines are being laid at the natural. He's got 2 down, he's put down 4 from how many mines does he have left? 1 on each of these Vultures, and I think 3 on the Vulture in the main, which has disappeared. Or did it die in the attack? Maybe it died.
It got mine dragged.
Trying to clear most of the mines, and he does it really nicely. Now there's only 1 mine standing between him and Lurkers. Is detection going to start? Yes, it has started, but it's going to be a while. Now he's like, oh shit, Lurkers. God, why? They're running in, they burrow. He cannot see them, of course. He can't really repair the bunker, too. He's just going to have to evacuate the natural. And then it's going to be a question of, can he hold the main long enough to get turrets? The Lurkers are just going to keep pushing forward, inching forward in this race against time. Also, the Academy is going up. If he buys enough time, he'll probably be in great shape. If not, though, he's going to lose the game outright to these Lurkers. Terran's still very behind in supply. The Lurkers are now at the ramp. He can stop the engineering bay from being finished. He's going to have to send more SCVs if he wants to complete that.
Wow,
But
man,
the Academy
so
now, the Academy might help. He really wants to finish the eBay, though, because he can get the it's so close to being done. I think he can get it, and SCV will get lucky enough to get on there and get the last little bit. Okay, he can lift the eBay now. He can build turrets, but will it be in time? Can he deny the turrets going up? The Lurkers are now very close, ominously close to SCVs. 1 turret is going up. He can actually attack the SCV building that turret. He needs to spam turrets on the right side or something like that. His Academy is denied and canceled, so it's a question of, can he get up a turret? Right now, it's this turret here. This is Lifeline. I'm surprised Zerg isn't giving it more attention. He's trying to get behind the minerals, I guess, to deny mining, but there's 1 turret up, so he's got a lifeline, but he cannot attack any of them. Goliaths are actually getting trapped on each other, suiciding, and the SCVs have to evacuate to the right side. Can he tunnel in behind the SCVs? It's going to be close. I think he's really building these turrets in the wrong spot, and Probert says GG. Not stop the Wrath of Lurkers. That was really close. If he would have built a turret on the right side or in the middle of his mineral line, he might have been able to hold that off.
Man. Alright, some really small thing that I want to point out for ZD, way at the beginning of the game. As soon as he built the first 6 Lings, he saw the Terran Scout coming in, and he sent 1 Ling back to deal with the Scout and the other 5 to go down. And I know that there are a lot of Zerg players who like to use all 6 of their initial Lings to pick off the scouting SCV. And if you're going to go for if you're going to go for one hatch lurker, go for something super cheesy like that, then it's even more important to really focus down that SCB. So it's impressive that he decided not to, that he had faith that the future Zerglings would be able to do it, that he'd be able to take it out and stop the scout from being able to see the lurkers, but it allowed him to put on some early pressure, and you saw how close that was to being able to defend the lurkers and not. The few SCV kills he got, because he sent those initial lings, may have been the difference in the game. So very small thing early in the game, but I really like that from a Zerg player, to have faith that you're going to be able to kill off the scouting SCV later.
So we get into our next game on Overwatch, a TVP LagFree's boy against I Am Infernus, not Infernal.
Alright. In the top left, as the blue Protoss, we have I Am Infernus. And in the bottom right, as the red Terran, we have LagFree's boy. LagFree boy is Terran boy, but Terran boy did not fit with the LagFree tag, so they just shirked with boy.
Is from Canada. I don't know. I don't know what that means too much.
Vivian is from Canada.
And I don't know who Infernus is. I have no idea.
Is this? No.
I really don't have any idea.
Odd question coming from Peruvian. Immediately suspected from Rush, but it doesn't look like he's sending out an SCV.
From Rush is probably the best thing I've ever seen. Get ready to run in those lings from... Can A move. Is best of 3 or best of 1? It is best of 1, sir. Of course, this is already played, so talking to you is not especially helpful. Maybe I'll tapping to go check. That'd be funny. Depot going up, so it might be a wall here from Terran Boy.
Alright.
LagFree apparently can multitask and check TL without PPing, so that's kind of cool. Cheese fest for the win. Yeah, we are going to see a wall here.
Yeah. Oh. Early probe scout. Is it going to be able to get in there before the
oh yeah, there's probably.
I don't know. I don't even know if that would have been tight if the depot was there, but since no depot there, the probe is going to get in. Going to find that there is not any super evident cheese going on right now.
Nope, no real cheese possible, but he could always do 2-fact or fact port or 2-fact port. Not that those are really cheesy, but they're definitely very aggressive builds. People in my stream always complain they don't want to watch the roster. It just seems so exciting.
It's pretty sick. And now it's a dynamic roster. Last week it was just the entire roster and it didn't change. But now it's changing. So like you could watch it like bam, magically change at any moment. That's intense. Don't overlook that. Like watching the game is cool too, but like gotta look at the gas is half full, man.
It's one of those gaps. I'm pretty sure this is going to be tight on the right side, but if you look at that barracks, it looks like an Ultra could like jump right through there.
Yeah.
And yet it can be tight. The mysteries of Brood War, the way hexes work. There was a really awesome post on that. I think there's a blog about how Brood War pathing works. Maybe it was the guy that made the game. I can't remember, but they were talking about how they coded the pathing, and you could really understand like why walling issues and things like that were the way they were. Factory done. Shop is pretty late. Shop is really late. There we go. Finally a shop. That was like 10 seconds to make the shop. That's going to slow his FD down a bit. And ooh, what's this on the left side of the base? Looks like there's a gateway. So it's a secret 2 gate. Let's take that back. It's a secret 3 gate. So there's going to be some serious goon pressure coming to the wall of Lagboy. And of course it was Infernus that said Cheese Fest for the win, and then himself begins to deliver a little cheddar.
Okay, so shout out to Zerg Boy for the first Peruvian to not cheese. Playing it straight.
You mean
So
Terran
far,
Boy? Terran Boy?
yes, Terran Boy, my bad. Zerg Boy is someone else. Terran Boy, and
Oh, huge SCV! What the? That was like Flash Star Sense hacks. So now he knows he's gonna be up against 3-gate.
Alright.
He's getting a tank out. He has changed his research to siege.
Yeah,
and
but that's
he's going to re-wall himself off. If he positions the tanks well, he can probably be okay. If he positions the tank too close to the cliff, though, it will just be sniped from the low ground.
Yeah. Man, there's gonna be a really small window here where he's gonna have all of his goons done because there's 2 more on the way right now, but siege mode is not done. Maybe there's
Back at home, oh god, he's following some of the Citadel. Oh man. Infernus is helping to give the Protoss race the reputation of being gay. A common complaint of Terrans.
And it might be... where is the Citadel? Did it get cancelled?
Wait, did he? Oh, maybe because the SCV snuck in. So
Yeah.
he's either gonna resume it now, which he just did. He knew the SCV was low on health and he resumes it. So yeah, he still wants the Citadel. No, I don't know if this is gonna be transitioned to speed lot after. Oh, it is. Oh god, it is. So he's gonna be like, okay, I'm being all scary, and then he's gonna think the attack's like safe, and then he's gonna hope he comes down to expand, and then when he's all defensively positioned for Goon, just run in with speed lots and be like, psych! Oh, suicide lot, suicide watch, depressed zealots. I don't know, something about the blue, dark color of this map, maybe it's a little bleak. Oh, and a robo. Oh my god, what the? And, okay, no, it's DT drop. It's not, he just made extra zealots because I guess he didn't want to spare the gas or something. So if your 3-gate fails and you feel like that's going to be defended, you might as well follow it up with a DT drop. Thankfully, Terran is getting both Academy and eBay.
Yeah, this is actually going to be relatively late though, because he decided to build the Robo, because he had to cancel the Citadel and rebuild it. The first turret's up, and if he had been going for DTs straight out, no, it still probably wouldn't have been in time.
Oh, the Vulcan try to go out, and they run into a wall of boots.
Alright.
Now, is he getting mines? Mines are going to be really nice for defending DTs. He is getting them. Robo is finished. DT number 1 is out. Oh, okay, the Vultures sneak out, and they scout. Well, no, you already scouted the gateways, never mind. But we've got a bunch of DTs on the way. The shuttle just now started, and he needs to block this ramp with the DT, or he's going to lose every single probe. I was trying to get a goon back in time. It's a race! It's a race! The Vultures are catching up! The Vultures are going to win the race because they're way faster! The goon is so close to blocking, but it's not quite. Can he block the ramp with the DT? I think it's in the right spot. Is it? He could mine his way past the DT. It looks like it's blocking the ramp, though. The Vulture's bugging out. No, one is glitched through, and the others get in! Alright, so he can clean this up with the DT, but he's got a lot of mines and problems now in his main base. I don't know where that shuttle is. I guess it's still in production. The DT is 1 mine hit away from death. It is gone, but there's only 1 Vulture left, which is somewhat reasonable to clean up with probes alone, especially if you do something to distract the Terran player.
There's a Dragoon coming up too, and it also revealed that there were DTs. It revealed that there's a shuttle on the way.
It doesn't give a lot of kills,
though. He should have plenty of time to get the turret up. Where's the turret?
There's one turret in the front. There really should be a turret in the main. I guess maybe he's going to hold scans and try to rely on scans. He's going up to 4 factories.
And he's going to have to, but I'm really surprised.
He's got 4
not
DTs.
Down
That
the
is so many DTs. That is really, really very devastating. He could easily lose factories to this, and he might not be able to kill them all with a scan, and he definitely can't bring back all his tanks to deal with this, because there's a somewhat threatening army on the front. He's leaving 2 tanks and a Vulture, but that will not kill 4 DTs with 1 scan. He's going to need to use all of his scans. He's going to be close to 4 scans, though. Alright, so SCVs are going to start dying really fast. The attack commences, but he's wasting scans, and that is a concern. A turret really needs to go up. A turret really needs to go up.
Yeah, picking up the DTs so that
a lot of scans being done. I don't know if he's going to be able to pick all of the DTs back up. 1's going to die. He still has 3. but this turret is getting pretty close to completion. Whoa, he scans unnecessarily, but with the turret going up in the main, he might be okay. I hope the shuttle isn't going to die to this turret. It is going to get away, but now it's very low on health. 3 DTs still remain, but, I mean, let's face it, Terran Boy has held that off pretty easily.
He has no scan.
Oh,
The
cute.
turret.
Terran Boy concedes the gateways pylon from the top, so yeah, the goon's forced to cancel on those gateways. And behind this, Infernus is like, you know what? This failed, so I'm just gonna double expand because YOLO, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not sure I like the double expansion. He was
I'm
out
not
of
sure I do
scan.
either.
I don't know if Infernus could know he's out of scan, but he still now doesn't have a scan. So all that time he wouldn't have had one. The turret in the natural doesn't cover.
Wait, no, it's not a double expand. It's a motherfucking triple expand. What the heck? I'm slightly amused by this. All right, so it's failed. You failed with all your other stuff. So you might as well go the other way and drop the triple expand. A Vulture scouted at least one of the expansions, and at this point, Boy is just unsieging and is gonna go attack and kill the Protoss unless he somehow baits scans like a genius.
I mean, there's only 2.
He's on 5 facts. Yeah, he could bait the scans, but honestly, he can just kind of turret his way up to the base and should be okay. There's obviously not going to be the unit count needed to defend this, even with the shuttle. If
Yeah,
he somehow
I don't
did
know.
defend this, though.
I don't know. There isn't that much scan, and the Terran has a really long way to go if he's going to push with turrets. I mean, the fact that the
Yeah, but
Protoss
he
is
can get up close because there's not obs, so Infernus can't
Yeah,
really be out on the map.
oh,
I don't know where he's headed yet. If he heads only to the right side, I'm a little scared for him. I really think he should just go for the kill because, yeah, he can take out this 4th base, but that might allow Terran to get 3 bases, which is still going to put him in a bad spot. But I guess the 4th base is going to go down without a fight. Because that army is definitely not stoppable with this ridiculously tiny amount of Protoss units.
that shuttle is pretty low health, which means
Yeah,
that
it
the
is.
Marines, well, and they don't have too many Marines. Marines aren't that much of a
Alright,
concern.
so Infernus is coming over here. Is he going to pick this as his fight location? I am a bit surprised he would go in this fast. I don't think he has to. But he's going to drop the DTs. The scan has to go down. It's pretty well timed. DT bombing operation very unsuccessful, and the shuttle is going to just not escape, and instant GG. So yeah, that didn't go as planned, and what do you expect when you try to triple expand? And that puts LagFree up 3-1. So I don't know what to say about that game, other than lots of cheese followed by more cheese followed by econ cheese.
Yeah, Terran only moved out because he scouted the 4th. If he didn't scout the 4th,
I think he was still gonna. I
That-
think he was still gonna go though. He was on 5 facts. He might have waited a little longer, but I'm pretty sure he was still gonna go attack either way. And honestly, they're just like it's pretty hard to defend that if you don't go Reaver or like 2 base Arb or something. That was what made that such a strange decision. He did all this DT stuff and all-in stuff, and then he's just like, well, I'm gonna quadruple expand. I guess he was like gonna hope he quadruple expands and Terran just doesn't do anything. That was strange. That's all I can say. And a bit painful for Infernus. So now we're going to have LagFree Shaku against I Am Sugo. Shaku I know has done alright on ladder. I think he's pretty high ranked on IC Cup ladder right now and has been beating some decent names. And Sugo, I know the name. I want to say he's good, but I might be wrong. But I'm not positive. I guess we're going to find out, and we're going to go into Game 5 on Tau Cross. And since people are complaining, I'll let them watch the actual cast as opposed to just the leaderboard screen.
that's nice of you. So, In the top right, as the blue Protoss, we have Shaku. And in the bottom right, as the orange Protoss, we have Sugo. So, we got a PvP mirror on Tau Cross. Alright. Should be interesting.
Yeah, Tau Cross a non-ramped map, so you can have some pretty serious goon aggression sometimes, and also the choke is really, really narrow, so a contain setup outside the choke, particularly with Reavers, is very, very difficult to bust.
Yeah, it is. The choke between the natural and the main is very, very small, but the choke from the natural to the outside is very, very big. And because goon aggression is so strong, it kind of... I mean, the fact that goon aggression is so strong leads you to want to make lots of gateways so you can make lots of goons fast and have a nice big army. But the fact that that choke is so small compared to the other choke almost makes you want to fast expand. Or get an expansion, not necessarily 12 or 14 next, but get up an expansion faster than you otherwise would have. Both players going for gateway first.
Gas for Sugo and gas for Shaku, so we're going to see at least standard opening PvPs, no 2-gate, 3-gate, 4-gate. Craziness. Actually, I don't think 4-gate is really a thing at this level, but it's popular at D for some reason. That's like the thing to do. Go 2-gate and then go 4-gate slow lots. That happens a lot.
Tau Cross is an odd map for PvP, just because a lot of PvP, assuming you get past the first 12 minutes or so, really becomes a positioning battle. And if you have the high ground when the very similarly composed, similarly sized goon armies clash, then you're able to win. But if you don't have the high ground, you lose. And it becomes a matter of balancing where your army is positioned so you can take engagements relative to having your army positioned to defend expos. But on Tau Cross...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. On Tau Cross, it's so open. There's just nothing. There is no high ground. There is no critical points to be holding. So I think that we're going to not see so much of a positional game that a lot of PvPs can be, and rather just a very raw macro. I have more stuff than you, and it'll come down to some very clutch Reaver control or some very clutch storms that the game does get to that point.
And both players this game were pretty confident, as both opened core before Zealot, so obviously feeling pretty certain the other player wasn't going to do much Zealot aggression, certainly wasn't going to do proxy gates. And of course, it's going to be second gate from Sugo and probably from Shaku. That's pretty common on these non-ramp maps to go 2 gateways before your tech. Both have their probes alive, but of course that's to be expected, but... Oh, no, Shaku's going to be okay. I thought he was going to lose his probe, but now there's a goon out, and the goon is out for Sugo as well, so the probes are getting picked off now, and the scouting information ends. Shaku's seen the 2 gates, so he's going to respond, like I said, in kind with a gateway of his own. That's really pretty typical of ramp maps, as if you don't do that, you can easily die to the other player's goons, especially if you make a micro mistake. And range for both players on the way, slightly faster for Sugo, but he's not really moving out to pressure, so it's not going to be any sort of significant difference that could be meaningful or exploited. And there's the Robo, Shaku going Robo. Sugo, we're still waiting to see what his decision on tech is going to be.
Yeah, Reavers are rather strong in this map, just because there tend to be good opportunities for you to go for some Reaver Grass. Not as much as on other maps, but I think it's a good option.
And it is going to be Robo from both players. 3-gate Robo from Shaku, so it's probably going to be 3-gate Goon Ops. Which is kind of considered one of the safest PvP openings. It's pretty flexible. you can put on aggression and you can defend just about anything with 3-gate robo-obs. So it's one of the most versatile builds in PvP. Perhaps its one weakness might be the fact that it's not economically as strong, as obviously if you take time to produce goons out of 3 gateways, you're not going to get an exceptionally fast Nexus. And we're just seeing 2-gate robo right now from Sugo, so we're probably going to see Reaver from him. Oh, I'm wondering if he'll... No, that's just another goon. Alright, so we've got 5 goons and a Zealot coming up here against 4 goons and a Zealot, but 5 is out for Shaku, so... I doubt either player will kill each other, but here we go. Sugo's going to move in. We'll see if we can get the better of this trade. He does have a 1 goon advantage. No, never mind. The goons are equal right now. Looks like the control so far was fine from Shaku, who's already killed 1 of Sugo's goons, now walking on top of them. It's still a pretty equal fight. Both Zealots are getting some hits, and now all of a sudden, Sugo is the one with more goons, and Shaku's taking Zealot hits, but it looks like they're still trading reasonably even. Although it's a little bit of a strange situation. Shaku's on the wrong side of his stuff, and now 4 goons are coming out, and in the end, Sugo's going to get the worst of this trade, which is not good, especially when you're being faced with 3-gate reinforcements. Yeah, there's the obs. So now we're going to see the goon pressure. He is getting a Reaver. He's going to crawl that out, and the way I've seen this played most of the time is they'll get the Reaver out, and you have 3-gate goon. You won't commit to the attack, but you'll sit outside, do a light contain, and delay them for a bit while getting your Nexus, and then you just delay them just enough so that you can get your own Reaver out. But we'll see how he plays. He's got his obs coming down right now. 4 goons are out for Shugo against the 5 for Shaku. And
yeah, but that
Reaver
was
almost done. But the Nexus, of course, is halfway to being done for Shaku. The only thing I don't like is that... Oh, Shaku's just going to go for gateways. Okay, he's just going to try to defend any possible Reaver with Mass Goon. So we'll see how the control ends up being for him. Because I was going to say, if he was going to crawl Reavers out, his Robo's in a really poor position for that. That's a long crawl route to get all the way down to the natural.
Yeah, I think we might see that large choke come into play here. In a different map with a smaller choke, the Reaver has an easier time overcoming big number deficits. But is it 4 or 5 gateways? 5 gateways.
All in a big line. I like what Shaku's doing here, though. This is a good place to sit. It'll slow him down a little bit, and honestly, anytime you can buy with this gives you more time to get goons out, and that's really all you need with the significantly faster expansion and greater gateway count. If you get out enough goons, you can defend Goon Reaver with goon only, but if the goon count is close, it's really, really, really a tough fight. And it allows him to choose the fight in a little bit more of an open ground. As obviously if you fight Reaver Goon in close spots, it's pretty hard to trade effectively because all your goons are clumped up and are going to take maximum damage, and it can be difficult to form a good arc also. 61 supply to Shaku is against 60 for Sugo, so we're still pretty even. But Sugo's already mined a bunch of minerals, and Shaku's Nexus, or Shugo's Nexus, isn't even done. And I think he's just waiting on a second Reaver and going up to 3 gateways now. Oh, trying to snipe off the obs. He does snipe off Shaku's obs, waiting at the front. And that second Reaver is about to pop. Loaded one of the Reavers, needs to load the other one, and then most likely will try to apply some pressure. The other thing you can do is you come up with this Reaver Goon Force, you threaten at the natural, and then you try to harass the back door while the pressure is applied at the front.
There is a probe that has built 2 pylons behind Orange's base.
I think he just wants that to see the shuttle if it tried to come out at whatever angle. He just wants to have the best possible vision.
Yeah,
so
I think it's for that too. But now there's a 3rd pylon up by this expansion too. That's 300 minerals just to be looking for the shuttle.
Oh god, the shuttle's over the goons! This is a horrible drop. He's going to snipe at least one of the Reavers. This is not good for Sugo at all. Instantly loses his 2 Reavers and way more goons, it looks like, from Shaku. There are a few Zealots doing damage, but I think Shaku's going to be just fine. He's got the higher gateway count, And demolishing those Reavers so fast, he will clean up easily with reinforcements, although it seems that even the goons here are going to be enough, and that is exactly what you don't want to do as Protoss. That pylon really served him well because the goons stopped to attack the pylon, which made the shuttle get out in front, and Sugo wasn't babysitting as closely as he needed to, and really a crucial mistake there, and now Shaku is just at a huge lead. Thankfully, Sugo has been making Reavers continuously. He might be able to defend. He's got one Reaver out, so it's possible he can hold, but he's still going to be very behind economically. But here we go, a bunch of goons running in. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to go for that. I thought for a second maybe he'd get a good enough spread to go for it, but may just sit outside with a contain of his own.
That pylon that actually turned out to be really huge in that battle.
Yeah, it did.
Allowed for the positioning, as you said, but that's probably the more important thing. But also to consider that that pylon practically died. It didn't die, but it lost 591 hit points. That's as much hit points as 3 Dragoons were.
True.
That's 3 Dragoons you managed to save from the course of that fight that were just absorbed into that pylon.
Though he did take about a few shots of its own before the army was there, so not all of that was absorbed during the battle, but a few shots were still absorbed during the battle for sure. Alright, Sugo's loaded up a single Reaver into a shuttle, perhaps thinking harass. And Shaku feeling confident enough in himself to go ahead and grab the third Nexus, which is going to be way, way faster because Sugo's still going to break out and everything else. So... And Shaku has started his +1 upgrade. And how many gateways? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gateways coming out from Sugo. Wait, yeah, 7 gateways. Against the 5 from Shaku, so there might be one more window here for Sugo to get aggressive. We'll have to see. No sign of other tech though. Oh wait, no, there is a Citadel here for Sugo, perhaps for speed lots. And it looks like Sugo is trying to position to break out right now. I think Shaku might just take a few shots and then retreat. The army of Sugo is bigger, and with that Reaver drop, yeah, there we go. He's going to back off, just slightly delaying that army a little bit. We can see more gateways now going up for Shaku. He's adding a 6th. He'll probably want to add 1 or 2 more. He's got an OBS. He can see some of the gateway count, but it's positioned more over the Nexus, which is honestly probably not the most ideal spot for that OBS. And now the Reaver is loaded up, or the shuttle's loaded up with 2 Reavers. And Shaku's actually bringing down all of his units. Now he's got a scary army. And it's really going to be in a nice wide position. Tau has some pretty wide open spots. It can be tight across some of the bridges, but it also has these huge wide open areas. And Sugo's going to opt to take, maybe he's just going to opt to take a 3rd base, but that is way, way far behind Shaku's. Shaku's already mined about 50 minerals from every patch, and Sugo is only just starting in. Now he's got an engagement. Shaku is moving in, gets a bunch of free hits off on Sugo's goons, who immediately retreats. The army sizes actually seem somewhat similar, but looking at the supply, it's very close right now. Sugo might have a few more probes than Shaku. Sugo is still in 6 gateways, Shaku on 7, so Shaku has to be careful. Because I do see a lot of PvPs that it feels like to me are decided by who makes the first bad attack. And if he isn't careful and has a really inefficient trade, he definitely could still be in trouble against Sugo.
Shaku is playing this so cautiously. Not just in his army positioning, but he now has a pylon at every single expansion on the map. Like, those pylons are looking for that hidden expansion. They're certainly looking for Reaver harass. He has cannons up in his mineral lines. He's just...
And all of a sudden, here we go. Big army from Sugo. It might be bigger than Shaku's, and Shaku, yeah, immediately retreats from this while bringing down more of his army. This needs to not run headlong into the army. Is he going to have enough? I don't know. I don't know if this is where Shaku should fight. He does have a pretty good arc. But there are a lot of speed lots in there, and there are 2 Reavers on the ground getting off shots. Sugo is actually trying to trap Shaku's goons, and it's sort of working. He's getting a lot of free hits, but Shaku is able to find a second path to retreat away from. And it looks like there might be a little bit of a backstab by Shaku onto the 3rd base. As this happens, it's going to mean a lot of micro in different spots, which also allow for a few more potential slip-ups in control as they react to being attacked in different places. And here we go. Here comes the engagement. We'll follow the small one a little bit. He's just attacking the pylon right now, not really microing that. The Reavers are dropped onto the ground. There are Templar there. I don't know if there's Storm or energy for it. There is enough energy, but does he have Storm research? I don't know. The Reavers are continuing to push in. The Goons over here are doing some damage. Zealots trying to come to clean up. They're actually picking off a lot of probes at the expansion, and Sugo is pressing forward up north. Reaver scarabs going off. Zealots running in. He gets a big storm off on the Reavers, but not enough to kill them. They are still doing damage, and is Sugo's army going to be enough to take out Shaku here? Zealots cleaning up at the third base, so Sugo's own third is safe now, but a DT is out, and there's no obs. DT defense from Shaku is going to hold this. And I don't know who's going to come out of this ahead. I think Shaku's going to come out of this just a little ahead, as he killed some probes at the third, and they both kind of repelled each other's armies. Let's talk about a good timing for DTs to come out. That was a hard battle to follow. It's one of those battles where I needed Sonic's res hack to follow it nicely.
That should have gone so much further for Shaku, but time and time again there were small engagements, and the Reavers were in such a safe position that they actually couldn't even be used by Sugo. And it wasn't until the Reavers were completely pressed up against the wall that the Reavers finally started getting shots off, and Sugo finally got the engagement he needed, but combination of a little bit of a misplacement of the Reavers and Sako just making sure that the Reavers were going to be ineffective made sure that he really just did not take as much damage from the Reavers as he should have, compensating for the fact that he doesn't have Reavers of his own.
And
I showed
it on screen, but I want to point out that during that battle, Shaku actually took the fourth base, so he's in a pretty strong spot now, economically. Although gateway production is still only at... Well, no, never mind. He's going up to 8 gateways now. What does Sugo have? 4 plus 3 plus 2. He's got 9. Going up to 9. So Sugo is still on more gateways than Shaku. Although their probe counts should be pretty similar. Maybe a little bit lower, if anything, for Sugo. Both players now starting to mine out their main, which is going to be a really big deal because that's going to mean that Shaku is going to be on 3 bases and Sugo's only going to be on 2, and that's really significant difference in production. And now Shaku's coming in here, committing for an attack. I don't really know if he has enough. Again, it's hard to tell. Army sizes seem similar, and it looks like Shaku wants to run into the natural. Not something you see all the time, running into the natural. He's going to get flanked on both sides from Sugo. The DTs, wait, are there no obs to see the DTs? There may not be obs there to see the DTs in the natural, continuing to do damage, and yeah, I don't think there are. Man, this is hard to call, I don't even know. It looks like Sugo's winning at the top, but units of Shaku doing a lot of damage to the natural. DT picking off a bunch of probes, and Sugo says GG. Cannot hold off the attack. The DTs and lack of obs is too much. So that is a 4-1 for LagFree. And what proves to be a very solid debut.
I think in that first engagement he was pushing in explicitly to take out the obs. Because as soon as he saw the obs, he pulled all of his units back, sniped off the obs, and then re-engaged after that, allowing his DTs to just do a lot of damage. When he went into the natural, he also was careful to focus down the cannon. That's one of the first things he did. I keep talking about it. It was such a cautious game, but I really, really like that. I really like that.
Yeah, and that was good, because there were a few moments where I was like a little worried, is Shaku going to charge in there against the better arc? And although he had an advantage, there were more gateways from Sugo, so if he had a bad engagement, and with more reinforcements from Sugo, you can throw away PvP sometimes if you're not careful with your engagements. And so yeah, I don't know, that's LagFree's going to be happy, and I guess IM is going to want to go home and work and come back stronger next week. And we are going to go next into SAS against IFU, but before I do that, there's going to be a brief pause in the stream as I stop it to separate the VOD. So I will be back in 15-20 seconds or something.